Listen, it's good that I'm kind of like been in a self-imposed quiet period for a little while on social media because I'm seeing things that disgust me on a daily basis. Daily basis at this point, from like people that purport to be professionals, or people that say outrageous things because they don't actually have any money under management. So there's no client they have to answer to when they make these outrageous statements, and it just seems to be getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm trying to ignore it and not, get into altercations with people. I really am doing my best. I don't know for how much longer I'm going to be able to keep all of this inside. But I'm going to tell you right now, I really don't understand all the hysteria. If you say that you don't like the valuations in some of these growth stocks, and it's this bubble, and it's speculative, and then that bubble deflates, and the S&P is still within 10% of a record high and is weathering these little mini bubbles being popped everywhere, how is that negative? Isn't that what you want? What are you actually complaining about? You don't like the speculation. All the air comes out. These stocks are down 75, 80%. The bubbles are bursting, but the economy is fine. Isn't that a good outcome? Isn't that what you're rooting for? Put that aside. The Cathie Wood stuff is so over the top. I think people have done enough using her name to get clicks. It's gotten personal at this point in a way that it never should. That's a human being. That's a person with feelings. You don't have to agree with her. You could bet against her. You don't have to like her investment philosophy. That's a person. And they did this with Meredith Whitney 7 or 8 years ago. Same exact template. Comes out of obscurity, makes people a ton of money with a call, tries to do something bigger and better, gets media attention, and then they can't wait to rip her guts out. And I'm watching that same thing play out. It makes me sick. I really don't like it. I have no problem with people betting against an investment strategy. That's what we're all here to do, bet on or against. But the personal stuff, it's bad, and it should stop. Last thing, I promise I'm almost done. The buybacks are going to start now. We've had the damage. We've had the technical damage. Not every company is a good company. Not every company has the balance sheet to support its share price. So I don't think you're going to get this rebound where all of these growth stocks that have been annihilated just automatically get to go back to their highs. It ain't going to go that way. I think the quality names, I think the companies that have these fortress balance sheets, and there are very many of them all throughout the index, are probably the best bet. Even if you don't get the biggest bounce out of them, you know that they will have the wherewithal to come in and do some buying. And I think that that's really where the rebound can stick. It's going to be much tougher for that rebound to stick. And I own some of these companies that were SPACs 6 months ago. They have no support. They don't have enough cash to do buybacks. They're too small. I would curb your enthusiasm on the comeback there. It's going to become a little bit more bifurcated, in my opinion, going forward if we have a recovery. I think it's going to be narrower than a lot of people would like. And that's not going to be fun for people that have loaded up on unprofitable companies, but that's just how I see it.
Let me ask you this. You said something, everything you said was interesting, but one thing that jumped out to me immediately was when you said all the air comes out. Those were your words regarding these, bubble things that have popped in your words. Do you really think has all of the air come out of those areas, or does still need to come from them? And that goes to the question that really matters most to people as to whether you think that we did put a bottom in on Monday. I want to know if you think we did. I want you to answer that question, and then whether you think that all of the air has come out of the frothiest areas of the market.
Well, I can't tell you definitively that I think we've seen the bottom, because we really are probably in for another few weeks of inflation data that the market is going to look at that and say, oh, 6th rate hike. Oh, now it's a 7th rate hike. Like, we're still in that phase, which I think ultimately will be wrong. But I can't tell you that the market's not going to have negative reactions to that stuff. But as to the question of if all of the air has come out, so I'm not a Robin Hood bull. I've been pretty negative on the stock since it was 70. But I looked at it last night when it was selling off. It was like $10 in the aftermarket. And you look at the market cap is $9 billion. And then you see their press release they put out about their net capital, which I think is like close to $3 billion. So you say to yourself, wait a minute, You're telling me Goldman Sachs could like do a Robin Hood buyout for $6 billion and they're not talking about it? I think there are a lot of situations like that where you don't have to like the company, but you just look at like, wait a minute, some of these things are a super low risk for an acquisition. We just witnessed a massive deal with Microsoft buying Activision. If you think that's the last one we're going to see in Q1 with the NASDAQ down 19%, I think you'd be wrong there. I think you're going to see a lot more. So there's a certain point where maybe not all the air has come out, Judge, but too much has come out to still want to press those bets. Not in all cases, but I think in some very big, well-known names.